Welcome. We are talking about the DV2022 status. Will it be there, DV2022? Will it be cancelled, DV2022? By DV2022, we mean, will there be application in October this year, 2020, for the results to come out in year 2021 in May, so that people can be processing the DV2022? That is the question people have asked directly to the State Department Bureau of Consular Affairs on their Twitter account, and we have the official answer at the moment about the status of the DV 2022. Welcome everyone, this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM, and today I'm here part with the good news, but still is unknown to future, because I made a video about the future of the DV lottery and a special overall DV lottery. How will that be in the future? But now we are talking specifically the future of DV lottery, but specifically the DV 2022, because now it is almost the end of June. Almost we are in July. So if we are waiting for 5 days to be in July, what is going to happen? Because basically in the month of September is when they are going to announce the actual dates for the DV lottery dates, when it will be going to be played for October to November. So someone asked the question to the State Department, and I have the answer here. So the question came from Damascus on Twitter account, and the question is, someone was, because the State Department was answering the question about the DV 2021 suspension. So the question was, do you mean the entry for DV 2022 will also be cancelled? Meaning, will there be application this year in October? The State Department responded, Damascus, we have not made any announcements regarding DV 2022 at this time. I'm going to break down everything. If we have any updates related to DV 2022, we'll post them at dvprogram.state.gov, the website which we check the results and the application, and also travel.state.gov/visas, which is the website for the travel State Department. Please monitor those sites for the latest information. And if I go right now to these sites, there is nothing has been posted at the moment. So why, number one, what will be the status of this one? I'm going to answer this one into two categories. When they say we don't have the status related to any updates related to this one at this time, because the decision hasn't been made. So at the moment, the DV 2022 will be there as scheduled. Usually they will put updates, the dates and everything. In most cases is in the beginning of September. But usual, in a normal way, the DV lottery is starting, because we're talking about DV 2022, the fiscal year 2021 is starting in October. So from the first week of October until the first week of November is the actual dates for the for the applications. And I put it like there are tentative dates. So in most cases, let me look on my phone here, and I can be able to predict which are the dates where this DV lottery will be there. So basically, the lottery is starting obviously in most cases the first Tuesday of the month of October. But this year, the first Tuesday it will be September 6th. So September 6th will be a little bit further, so they will be putting probably on Monday of September 5th. So probably be October 5th or October 6th, the first day of the DV lottery to apply, and the last day to apply will be either November 2nd or November 3rd. November 2nd is Monday, November 3rd will be Tuesday. So either of those 2 dates will be the last day of the application. But as you can see, there is one thing, there are a few things which will be able to determine whether they will be able to make announcement to change it, or it will be as normal, which is the normal announcement that these are the actual dates to apply. At one point, I can say the lottery will be there as possible because of the following reasons, and I'll be going to say the lottery might be able to be changed or suspended for a little bit because of certain reasons. So I'm very positive that the DV Lottery 2022 will continue to be there. Why? Number one reason is we are talking of the year 2022. So for that case, you cannot be able to say, well, let's predict the year 2022, the job market will be so bad. No, you cannot make that determination to determine how many people will be unemployed at that time. So for that case, that's why even now this suspension they're going to do, they're doing into, it was, excuse me, let me drink some water first of all. Sorry about that. They are going to do into small portions. That's why they are going to determine when it's going to happen. The first time was 60 days. After 60 days, they're going for 6 months. Then they'll be able to determine. And I'm going to read into here when they say, however, the suspension does apply to DV applicants with certain exceptions. The proclamation will expire on December 31st unless extended. And how do they determine if we need to extend this one? This is how they're going to do. In every 60 days after June 24th, they will be going to evaluate, and it's not the president is going to do that. This decision doesn't come from the president. This decision comes from the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Homeland, is coming from Department of State and Department of Labor. These three departments are the one looking about the job market, how many people are unemployed, what is the status, and going to do recommendation. The same way, on the first proclamation on April 22nd, these three departments sat down, came with a recommendation of another extension of 6 months. So President Donald Trump didn't just wake up in the morning and go and sign this proclamation. No. It was official recommendation from these departments based on the labor market. As I mentioned, on April 22nd, there are more millions of people. Over 22 million people were unemployed. End of May, over 35 million people were unemployed. That's why this proclamation took a little bit longer. But they're saying, in order to terminate this proclamation, they say, this proclamation shall expire. Oh, no, I'm going to read the different one. So they say, this proclamation shall expire on December 31st, 2020, and it may be continued as necessary. And how will they determine? Within 30 days of June 24th, and every 60 days, after every 60 days thereafter, that means in August 24th, in October 24th, in December 24th, while this proclamation is in effect, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall, in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Labor, recommend any modifications as may be necessary. So maybe, and this is maybe, what if in August is something, maybe the labor job market goes well, they might reduce this one, which is not likely. But no matter what, in August 24th, the recommendation they're going to provide will determine whether the DV lottery in October to be there or not to be there. Because in August 24th, we'll be able to determine the actual dates of the DV lottery, if the DV lottery will be there. And I believe the DV lottery will be there because these departments cannot be able to predict what will happen in 2022. They'll be able to deal with the current one, not, extending this kind of suspension currently, but will not be able to affect that one. That is the reason number one. The reason number two is a political reason. In October is the mid of the campaign going for the election on the first week of November. the Congress will be busy with election. Right now, everybody is busy with election. They are dealing with the new CARE Act 2, which is another stimulus package they are working on, about 3.2 trillion. 1 more trillion than the previous. So they are busy with the bigger things. So you cannot be able to go and say, I'm cancelling completely the DV 2022 not to be available. They have to allow to be there by law, and then they can suspend not people to come. That is the presidential power has. But you cannot say there will be no at all application for the DV lottery. If you want to say there is no application for the DV lottery at all, that is the decision from the House of Representatives, and that decision has to go also to the Senate. So overall, the Congress must say, we are not going to allow at all the application of the DV lottery. So the application for the DV lottery is there by law. And the number of 55,000 visas maximum is there by law. In order to change that, you must change into the Congress. But the president has a presidential power like this proclamation to say, okay, we are not processing visa right now, we are processing visa later. They can do that. So what they will do, they will allow the DV lottery to be there as normal. They will allow that. But once you win, that will be a different situation. Whether you will be able to come or not to come, that will depend on the proclamation. So the DV lottery 2022 will be there, because they cannot afford right now to go to have another complicated discussion into the Congress. Remember, immigration as a topic is one among the most critical issue usual in the campaign, presidential campaign. So you cannot just go right now, both Democrat or Republican, to vote whether to have this discussion and you vote against or pro. At this point, it's a very delicate issue. So at this, for the political reason, they're not going to do that. But also on the economic point of view, now as a country is very busy with the bigger things than going to change a law just to end this one. House of Representatives and the Senate, they are busy to pass the CARE Act, to pass the stimulus. Remember, in September is the deadline for the end of the money they are giving all the airlines to pay people not going to work. End of July is the end of the of unemployment benefits given to people from the federal, which is added. So the government is busy with the other bigger things to deal with the economy. They are not going to start another discussion, a very serious discussion about immigration, just to end just this lottery. They will allow people to apply for the lottery as normal. But the DV 2023, that means after this application, the next one, which will be 2023, like the one people will be applying next year, those after the next election, the new president, whether it will be Trump or Biden coming to power, they will be able to decide those kind of things later. And for me, I see they will not go completely cancel it. They will be going to modify requirements. I have a video talking about how the future of the DV lottery will look like, and I can put the link below if you want to see that video. Like, will they go and put like special? We need will be not random selection basing on just even 2 years of experience, even if you have never been to primary school, or it will be specific for people with a bachelor degree or master's or PhD or specific field. Will be able to determine those kind of things later. But at the moment, the government cannot afford to have the discussion of this magnitude into the Congress right now, while we're in the middle of the pandemic, we're in the middle of the financial economic recovery. People are dealing with when are we going to get the actual direct check? How are we going to give the more money to the federal government, to the airlines, to the restaurant, to all those kind of things? They are dealing with the bigger things. They cannot take this one to put on the table to have the bigger discussion about the DV lottery for October. So the DV lottery October will be there. But let's wait as the Department of Secretary said, they've said at this time there are no any new announcements, but any updates will be related to the DV 2022 they will post them at dvprogram.state.gov. I'm going to put the website where you can be able to track this one, and travel.state.gov/visas. Those are the two websites you can be able to please monitor those two sites for the latest information when they're going to post them. And I guarantee you the DV 2022 will be there. for the reason I said. They cannot afford that, like all this kind of situation. But if they want to change that one, they can do that, but it has to get, if they want to end completely or modify the requirements, they have to do that in Congress. That is the only thing. But they'll go ahead and apply, and then they'll figure out whether to continue the suspension or not suspension. Because if they don't want to come, they'll keep adding suspension for you not to come, for depending on the reason of the economy or the labor market.